Hello, fellow House of Representatives. I am your constituent, and I'm here to discuss income inequality in the U.S. Income inequality mainly affects those who are low income, but on a broader scale, it really affects us all. Um, the limit at the limitations of access to key resources like healthcare and education and housing directly impact all communities. For example, with healthcare, most hospitals are funded by Medicaid. So if that wasn't an option for lower income individuals, and in addressing income inequality, a lot of hospitals would be shut down, which would affect anybody who is trying to access those resources. It disproportionately affects people who are low income because they're less likely to have access to transportation, to a family member that's available to take them to the hospital, less options to contact their doctor beforehand, lack of access to internet or technology comes up when income inequality is not addressed. This issue is persisting and growing nationally, internationally, and there needs to be more policies in place to address this increase in income inequalities and wealth gap. Um, One of the studies that I reviewed discussed how education has contributed greatly to this increase in income inequality. And those whose English is their second language, they're going to have more barriers when trying to address or access education. Not only is the language barrier making them spend more time accessing any resource, trying to communicate with people who do not speak their language, it also is less likely for teachers to be able to speak that language and for the cross communication of information to be shared with those individuals. Um, a staggering fact that I think is important: in the US, the top 1% of households own 30% of the total US wealth, while the bottom 20% account for less than 3% of the wealth. So that just highlights how staggering income inequality is, and that it definitely exists in this nation. And there's plenty that can be done, luckily, to address this and to help people get more access to key resources. And again, them getting that access will directly translate into services staying open and also stimulating the economy, allowing people to pump money back into the economy. Um, a main thing that has to be addressed are these historical ideologies, the Protestant work ethic, that you're not worthy of going to heaven unless you're working, and this automatically creates discrimination for those who are disabled and cannot work, and that it leads to blaming the individual rather than the systems that are failing them. The current policies that you all do have that are addressing income inequalities are tax credits for healthcare that allows for millions of Americans to access health insurance. And if that wasn't there, we wouldn't have nearly as many healthcare options for anyone in America. And also the child tax credit that just allows more mobility for families to use their money for other needs like transportation, accessing better education, and potentially affording housing. And then policy recommendations, recommending universal access to education, increasing funding for schools in low-income communities that's needed, also taxing people who are wealthy so that money can be translated into safety net programs, and also raising the living wage, the minimum wage, with the increase in technology jobs, a skilled labor job that has also contributed to income inequality. And there's more people that just are wanting to work, willing to contribute, wanting to contribute to society, but can't because even a 60-hour work week is not allowing them to afford basic needs of housing, food, and safety, and healthcare. So ultimately, addressing these issues are going to dismantle many discriminatory policies that we're currently seeing, and just address inequity in this society. So in conclusion, there are some policies that are in place that are dramatically impacting everyone and addressing income inequality, but with the rise in the gap, we need to put more policies in place, very actionable, possible policies to address this issue.